Hey everybody, it's me, Peter. It's Oscar season, and everybody has one question on mind. How come Deadpool was snubbed? Since I've been doing reviews on all of the Oscar-nominated films, I thought that it would only be fair that I address some of the snubs. Was Deadpool actually snubbed? Now, before I answer that, I do want to make it clear that I am a huge fan of Deadpool. I really liked this movie. It was extremely entertaining, very funny, but Oscar-worthy, it was not. The Oscars celebrates film as an art. So let me compare film to another art. If I were to ask you a relatively opinion-fueled question about art, I'm curious what your answer would be. Which one of these two pictures is better looking? An artist will probably say that the Mona Lisa is the better looking picture. That work of art speaks to them. It actually says something to them. Every brush stroke actually means something. You may say that the other one's better looking, but what is it that you really like about the other picture? Deadpool's very funny and action-packed, it's very entertaining, but ultimately it's just a really attractive swimsuit. Well, okay, Peter, what is it about Deadpool that makes it less artistic than any of the nominated films? Well, I'll tell you. Let's examine Deadpool a little bit more closely. Non-existent in this film. Wade Wilson is emotionally stunted. He has the emotional maturity of a preteen. He's sarcastic and he's irresponsible, he's sloppy, he forgets the weapons. But then when his girlfriend is kidnapped, he has purpose now, right? He steps up, he becomes more mature. Nope, still sarcastic, still immature, doesn't step up, still irresponsible, still forgets the weapons. He doesn't grow at all, he doesn't learn anything. He's right back where he started. Even in getting superpowers, that didn't turn him into a different person. He was still the same person as before he got the powers. Non-existent in this film. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Well, he's fighting in a fire because his life is burning to the ground. Nope. It's just a fire, just because it looks cool. Well, he's fighting on a freeway because of the hustle and bustle of everyday life. No, it's just a freeway. Just looks cool, that's it. Now, there is one little piece of symbolism that I might have given you if not for the rest of the film. Wade Wilson rising from the ashes. This isn't symbolic of his character in any way. It should have been, but it's symbolic more of his powers as Deadpool, not of his personality. Wade Wilson isn't the guy who keeps coming back. He's not the guy who rises from the ashes. He's not the guy who tries really hard. But he could have been if they had changed one thing in the film. In Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds meets up with Morena Baccarin, and he asks her out. They go out on a date, and she instantly falls in love with him. And then what follows is a hilarious montage of the two of them performing multiple sexual acts. Now, if we changed that slightly, Ryan Reynolds goes up to Morena Baccarin, asks her out. She says no. The next day, he comes back and asks her out again. Now the montage is replaced with him coming up with funny and creative ways of asking her out, and she keeps saying no. After a while, she actually starts to like him, but still says no because she's enjoying the game that they're playing. She's curious if he'll keep coming back. And then that one night that she decides she's finally going to say yes, he doesn't show up because he's been rushed to the hospital and finds out that he has cancer. And then he becomes Deadpool, and then all of a sudden him rising from the ashes is symbolic because he's the guy who keeps coming back. He's the guy who keeps trying even though he's been told no over and over again. It is non-existent in this film. The MacGuffin in Deadpool is literally that Wade Wilson is insecure. He's self-conscious about the way that he looks, and this is the entire driving force of the film. Well, okay, Peter, so maybe it's not the deepest movie in the world, but that still doesn't explain why Ryan Reynolds didn't get a nomination for his brilliant acting. Ryan Reynolds did do a really good acting job. So why didn't he get nominated? Well, I'll tell you. A lot of times what you'll find when an actor is nominated for a film is that the character that they're playing is very complex. Sometimes they'll have some kind of a mental disorder, or they're popping pills, or they're doing drugs. They are playing a complex character. Even Forrest Gump, who isn't necessarily an intelligent character, is still extremely complex. Now consider the fact that Heath Ledger plays the Joker in The Dark Knight, which is a superhero film, and he won the Oscar. He won the Oscar for this character because he played a complex character. Somebody who was mentally disturbed, violent, and also very intelligent and very philosophical. He had a lot of layers. He was extremely complex. Wade Wilson is extremely shallow. He has a very small range of emotions. And Ryan Reynolds plays these 2 or 3 emotions really well, but it's still a really shallow character. Well, okay, so he's a really shallow character, he doesn't have much of an arc, but that doesn't mean that he didn't do a good job acting, right? Right. But imagine that Ryan Reynolds and Heath Ledger are going to play a game of tennis against each other. Heath Ledger goes out into the tennis court in his Joker makeup, wearing maybe the nurse outfit or something, and he has this really fantastic top-of-the-line racket, really comfortable grip. And then Ryan Reynolds goes out into the tennis court in his Deadpool costume, and in his hand is a spoon. Ryan Reynolds could be the best tennis player on the face of the planet. He is not going to win that game with a spoon. And when the character that you're playing is about as complex as a spoon, you're probably not going to be recognized by the Academy. Now, don't get me wrong. As I've said before, I do think there is a huge difference between favorite and best. I really, really liked Deadpool. It was one of my favorite movies of this year. But I've got to say, I don't think that it was ignored. I don't believe that the Academy looked down on it because it was a superhero film and they can't take superhero films seriously. But when somebody's looking at two pictures and they're trying to decide which one has better artistry and which one is just a really attractive swimsuit, ultimately they're going to end up picking the Mona Lisa. And that's kind of what's great about film. You know, if you had 5 professors that all teach the history of art and you asked each of them who the greatest painter in history was, you may very well get a different answer from each of them. It doesn't mean that 4 of them are wrong and 1 of them is right. It doesn't mean that any one of them is wrong, but they are all going to be looking for the same things. They're going to be looking for what the brushstrokes and the color scheme means. They're going to look for what the painting is saying to them. So while I thought Deadpool was extremely entertaining, it didn't really speak to me. So hopefully that answered some of the questions that you might have had about why Deadpool was snubbed. If you have any other questions, let me know and I'll do my best to answer them for you. And if you liked this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.